Hey everyone, my name is Abby. I'm 5'9", married. We have 2 kids. I'm a part-time photographer, and I lost 50 pounds in 93 days on the Winner Lifestyle program with Coach James. To say that my life has changed dramatically in the last 93 days is an understatement. This journey started off with desperation and a prayer. But before we delve into all that goodness, let's back up a little bit so I can share some of my background with you. So I grew up in a loving Christian home with 5 siblings. So we did a ton of pickup sports and really could afford to eat whatever we wanted because we were so active and capable. So that was fun reminiscing on those days. Sports and everything helped negate the diet side of my life. However, in 2013, I broke my ankle and tore ligaments by playing volleyball in an indoor court. So that set me back quite a bit for a while with doing anything physical. But at the time, I went and I just cut a ton of calories. I went on MyFitnessPal, and I actually lost 20 pounds, but it didn't heal my relationship with food or change my view of health. It just put a Band-Aid on it. So when I was able to be more physical again and capable, I could pick up my old habits and really eat whatever because it was negated by all the activity that I had going on in my life. But then from 2015 on to 2018, I would re-injure that same ankle every year. It was just this cycle. And fun story. That's a fun story. When me and my husband were leaving the reception at our wedding, I busted my ankle in front of everyone. And we spent the majority of our evening at the local ER. This wasn't the face that I was wearing, obviously. Let's just say we started our marriage off on the wrong foot. So that was not fun. Going into marriage, being incapacitated for a little bit, and then just being terrified to do anything physical. So that made entering marriage in that season of life a little more difficult because we weren't able to just go on walks and just be active like we had been through our whole relationship. And then I started developing some hormonal problems and was diagnosed with hypothyroidism in 2018. And my doctor at the time said that the only way to fix it was through medication. And I really, at the time, did not want to believe that. So I spent the next year just changing different habits and things in my lifestyle. And I did end up losing 40 pounds. And the next year when I went to my doctor, he said I no longer had hypothyroidism. I don't know if that's the norm of how to fix things, but at least with my body and whatever it was going through, it worked. But I never lost more than 40 pounds, and it didn't heal, again, my relationship with food and my view of health. But it set me on a better path forward. And then I got pregnant in 2020, got pregnant that fall, and I had a pretty good pregnancy. Nothing major or serious happened. And sadly, well, to me it was sad, my pregnancy ended in a C-section. Baby boy healthy. I was alive, healthy, fine. But that was quite an ordeal, as my fellow C-section mamas know, to get through a C-section recovery. It is not for the faint of heart. So I ended up gaining everything I lost. I gained that all back in pregnancy, and then I was able to lose that about a year or so later. I lost about 40 pounds, but I just stayed there. I don't really know why. I think I kind of plateaued, and then I didn't really make any other changes with it. And again, my mindset around food and health just wasn't where it should have been. Which you will see how greatly that impacts my life with what I'm about to share. So the end of 2023, there was a medical situation that happened where I honestly thought I was going to die. And that really shook me to my core. And sadly, I turned to food. I wish I could say that I turned to the Lord and I dealt with all of my internal issues and trauma the best way possible, but the truth of the matter is, no, I turned to food. And I gained about 30 pounds in 2 months, I think, at least. That's embarrassing. But anyway, that was a rough winter. And then fast forward 6 months later, we start trying for a second baby. And at this point, I was a total of 40 pounds extra. So I gained 30 pounds and then probably another 10 by the time we started trying. And first month goes by, we didn't get pregnant. Second month comes and I get a positive pregnancy test. And not long after that, we miscarried. And that's a grief and experience that I had never gone through and didn't know how to deal with, even though I've had so many family and friends that have dealt with that. I, again, turned to food during that time in my grief. And a month after miscarrying, we got pregnant with our now baby boy, who was 7 months old. So there was quite a dichotomy of emotions happening. I'm trying to grieve this life that we lost and also celebrate this life we've been given. But that was just a very interesting thing to go through in the winter of 2024, that fall and stuff. And I was quite miserable during my pregnancy. And again, that pregnancy ended up in a C-section. There was a lot of heavy stuff going on at the time. And I say all this not to excuse my behavior. I am saying all this and explaining that I did the wrong things with coping with food. It doesn't excuse it. It's explaining that I failed my body. I failed it time and time again because I've never had the right view of health, of weight, of fitness. And so when push comes to shove and crap happens, that's where I've turned. And it's resulted in very bad habits that just snowball and compound on top of each other. I think a lot of us relate to that, especially if you're watching this video. But yeah, it got out of control. So fast forward just a few months postpartum, when the dust has settled a little bit and I no longer am carrying my baby, I'm just seeing my weight being dispersed in so many ways that I have never experienced before. And also just feeling so much shame for the decisions and choices that I made that got me to that point. I know I just carried a baby. I know that. And that's incredible. And this has nothing to do, though, with the pregnancy, weight, and side of things. This has everything to do with self-discipline and self-control that I lacked, to say the least. So all of that led me to breaking down on the treadmill one day, bawling my eyes out, and just asking the Lord to rescue me from myself. I was so broken and tired of these unhealthy cycles that I have had my whole life, and I felt in bondage to them, and I wanted to be free of them. So I was praying that God would provide the means for something to click in my head, and that I could find something to be committed to and disciplined in. And if I couldn't find anything, and I wanted to find it immediately, I was really, truly afraid that I would be obese and unhealthy the rest of my life. And I would live a life full of regret because of it. Which leads me to how I found Coach James. So I was on YouTube later that month after I had prayed and talked to the Lord about all of it. And I found the Winner Lifestyle YouTube page. And the first video that I clicked was of Mackenzie, who lost 100 pounds in 6 months. I think she started at 218 and then ended at 118. And she was a mom and a wife, and I really related to her and everything she was sharing. And I was like, surely this can't be real. There has to be some sort of scam or gimmick, because it just sounded too good to be true. It really did. So you know what I did? I went and I sleuthed around and I found her Instagram. And I don't think I've even told Coach this, but I found her Instagram, messaged her. I forget exactly what I said, but basically I was like, hey, I saw your video. It was so inspirational. Is this a legit program? Is Coach James legit? And what do you have to say about your experience? So she got back to me, I think the same day, and had nothing but great things to say about Coach James and the program, and told me everything that I needed to hear to know that, okay, I'm going to get online and I'm going to schedule a free, which is insane, a free 30-minute consultation with Coach. And we did that. I forget, it may have been a few days later. I had my consultation with him, and the next day I was on his program. What's really cool with Coach James is that he lays it all out there for you. He doesn't keep anything secret. He's above board and very trustworthy. And I just felt like he wasn't hiding anything from me in our consultation. And he really just wants serious people to do his program that are committed to their health. So started his program, and it became addicting. And my husband tells me that I have an addictive personality, which is funny. It's a good thing when directed in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So the way Coach James' program works is calorie cycling and daily accountability. And let's just say that daily accountability is the reason I am where I'm at. If it wasn't for having to weigh myself every single day, send a photo to Coach of my weight, take a picture of every single thing I eat, and send that to Coach with the amount of calories I consumed, I would have treated this program like anything else I've done in my history and not been disciplined, not been committed. And it's cool because he is the one to coach you. He's not passing you off to some other team member or robot or AI robot. It's him. He's very personal. He is definitely a coach and treats you like a coach would, but also gives grace for when you're not perfect and when something's changed in your schedule or your life. He's gracious, but he is a coach, and it's really worked for me. Maybe it's because it's intimidating having someone to be accountable to that I don't know. I think honestly that is a huge reason. So I attribute my success in large to having Coach James' accountability, and then just able to trust him because he knows what he's talking about. Because time and time again, well, you have seen with previous transformation videos, and you will see in videos to come, his program works. His methods work. So Coach James' method is calorie cycling, which means you alternate between high calories and low calories, which prevents your body from thinking it's in starvation mode, basically. And this helps maintain a faster metabolism, and that also prevents muscle loss. So when I heard those things in the consultation, I was like, yes, sign me up. And just knowing that my metabolism wasn't going to be hurt, because I feel like it's been hurt in the past with different methods that I've tried. So you have feast days and fast days. And on your feast days, you're in maintenance calorie mode. You don't want to gain weight really or lose weight on those days. And what I love about feast days, Coach doesn't have you on a specific diet. He is very passionate about real food, quality protein, fats, and carbs. And that's how he operates. And I love that because then it gives me freedom to decide what I enjoy and go from there. Which, sidebar, I have found that I love eating steak for breakfast with eggs and cottage cheese. That is my bread and butter. I wish I had a different terminology for that, but that is my bread and butter. And it makes me excited every time that I get to have that. Can't have it every day, obviously. But then your fast days, you can have a certain amount of liquid calories. And yes, fast days are hard, but what keeps you motivated is that those are the days that you lose weight. Which, the days that I'm hungry and starving, I'm like, I better be losing weight. I will say that going to Instagram and looking at people make delicious foods, it can help. My siblings probably have received too many food videos, but I don't care. It's helped me. It's helped me sometimes. But it's cool to see how your body works with all the decisions that you're making. And the program works. That's all I can say. Through the Winner Lifestyle program, I have not only lost 50 pounds in 93 days, but I have gained so much confidence and self-respect, which honestly and sadly, I don't know the last time I had that. And isn't that sad? And that's not me being a victim. I recognize that it's because of my choices and how I've lived my life that I haven't ever had that, experienced that. A huge change in my life with being on the Winner Lifestyle program is how I'm able to disassociate food with stress and with joy, with holidays and seasons and events. I am no longer a prisoner to food. I'm in charge. I'm in control of it, which really suits my personality because I do like to be in control of things. So it really works out well for me to be in control of my food, of my health. That's a huge takeaway for me and change just in my life because that has never been the case. Ever. Sadly, ever. Because you know what? I've never been someone with self-discipline. I see something, I get it, I justify away, I want what I want. I really have never denied myself pleasures. That is embarrassing to admit. And the only reason I can admit it is because I'm a changed woman. And this is my new identity, that I'm a self-disciplined person. And being disciplined just in this area alone is already impacting about every area of my life, and it's convicted me of what other things do I need to be disciplined in to better myself, for my husband, for my children, for my family, for my friends, for my church family. It's really been eye-opening in other areas of my life that I need to grow in, and that's humbling but so encouraging to my spirit that this health and food journey, it's impacting everything else. Through the Winner Lifestyle program, I finally feel full of life again. Even though I have 50 more pounds to lose, I am feeling so much more full of life. I have so much more energy, no brain fog. There's so many things I'm capable now of, just basic stuff like being on the floor with my kids playing, being able to run and chase my 4-year-old, like feeling good in clothes. Like, I already feel good in clothes, and I can't wait to see how much better I feel after the next 10, 20, 50 pounds. I'm stoked, really stoked. So to wrap this up, God has been so good and kind to answer the prayer that I had on a very, very hard day. He's been faithful, and this journey has truly changed me from the inside out. I cannot thank Coach James enough. He has such a good heart. And I cannot thank my husband enough, who's made this possible in so many ways, who's been my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter, and has loved me through everything, literally through thick and getting thin. It's funny because my husband will give me a hard time now and be like, it's kind of annoying that you're so healthy now because I don't get to have sweets and junk food whenever I want. And to that I reply, boo-hoo. I really hope that what I've shared resonates with you and your health journey wherever you're at. I highly, highly encourage you to book the free 30-minute consultation with Coach James. There's literally nothing to lose by doing that. That's an impressive thing that he's offering, and he's a very busy man. So if you get on there and he doesn't have availability being shown, just keep coming back, keep looking, and you should soon find a date that works for you. And to end this, all I know is that if someone like me, who has never been committed long-term to their health, who has had toxic relationship with food, body image, fitness, and who's never been able to be self-disciplined, and who's tried again and again to do things on her own, if someone like me can be having success, I truly believe you can too. And maybe that's what you need to hear. Someone like me on the other side of the screen believing in you, because I really do. I've told my family and friends, I'm like, there's nothing special about me. There's literally nothing special. So anyone can do this. Anyone can. It takes time to dig deep and be honest about ourselves and our weaknesses and our shortcomings. And it takes a lot of humility to ask for help. But that whole process grows us so much. There's a lot of transforming that happens in that process. And with the right help, motivations, and mindset, I believe all of us can live life to the fullest, truly.